My heart is a little heavy as we start today's show. As I mentioned, we do come to you from Nashville, actually just south of Nashville in Franklin, Tennessee. And Nashville's heart is hurting. Most of you woke up this morning to the news of the devastating tornado that hit all around Nashville and in Nashville. So we think of Cookeville, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville specifically. Lives were lost, and homes and businesses were destroyed. And so I could not, in good conscience, start today's show and not ask for all of you who are outside the Nashville area to put Nashville in your prayers, and also to those of you who are in Nashville who listen to the show and watch the show, know that we are praying for all those who were affected. And, you know, life sometimes throws these really scary and devastatingly awful curveballs at us. Stay in it. Don't quit. Folks are going to come around you. There's a story to tell. So if you were spared, while we grieve and we're sad for those who were lost through this horrible storm, we know that life does continue. And even those affected by it must continue. So continue, and continue well. So do you have to become a manager to actually advance in your career? We get this call on a regular basis. And it usually goes like this. It's one of two things. Either, Ken, I've got an opportunity to advance, but it means me moving up into management. And I say, well, do you want to be in management? And many times we hear people say, well, not really. Or we get the call from somebody who says, Ken, I took an advancement opportunity. I took a promotion that put me in management, and now that I'm in it, I don't like it. It's not for me. What do I do? That's what we hear a lot. And so there is this mindset, which it is a normal thing to think that if I'm going to move up in my career, I've got to move up on the org chart. But that's not actually the case. So I saw this article, Fortune magazine, the team brought me this, and I think this is great. And basically they say that same thing. Management is the more commonly pursued route of advancement, but it's far from the only option. So how do you advance in your career, influence, responsibility, and pay, if you're not going to move into management? A few ways. We'll go through it. Expand your job responsibilities. So again, you're not leaving your job or your position in the company. You are expanding the responsibilities of that job. Looking for opportunities to do more in the current job. Number two, always be learning new skills. We are in the digital age. Technology is constantly advancing. We can barely keep up with it. And to make yourself more valuable and thus keep getting the opportunity to grow in your role, grow your influence, your responsibility, and your pay comes down to, are you learning new skills? Number three, what about using your education? And I'm not talking about a degree. I'm talking what you've learned in the workplace and your experience. Putting that knowledge to work. How about using that to do some consulting? My goodness, folks, they call it the gig economy. I mean, we're in a place now in the American economy where, there's all kinds of opportunities for consulting. Number four, become an expert in your area and capitalize on it. Speaking opportunities, conferences, webinars. Put yourself in a position where you are recognized as an authority and as an expert in your industry. Number five, join and participate in industry associations. Again, this is the proximity principle. True here. I mean, just tried and true, rather. You are putting yourself around other people in your industry. And that last point, becoming an expert, a lot of times has a lot to do with just being recognized by people in your industry. Let your company know. I talk about this a lot. Let them know. This is the growth plan that I talk about almost every week with a caller. I'll say, here's what you need to do. You sit down with your leader and say, hey, where can I get better? Some things, new skills that you think I should learn. So maybe some areas that are a bit of a weakness that I need to mitigate and protect a little bit better. Some areas of strength that I could hone into a razor sharp skill. What do you think I needed to do to learn and to grow? And that conversation with your leader is so much more healthy because you're not asking for a raise. You're asking for an opportunity to grow, to increase your influence and your responsibility, and pay comes with that. So nothing in there about being a manager. And then look for lateral moves. So you could make more money, certainly in today's job economy. And we don't see any signs of slowing, even with all the coronavirus stuff that's going around. Stock market jumping up and down. Jobs report still really great. Here's the deal. In today's job economy, so this is right now, and probably over the next couple of months, moving laterally to another company is a way for you to keep doing what you love doing, what you're really good at, and you're going to make more money because there's such a demand. We have more jobs available than there are people who are unemployed. So a lateral move professionally to a different company can open up the opportunity for you to make more money and have more influence. So those are the ways to move up in your career that don't require you stepping into management. Well, why do I say that? Because here's the deal. I'm just going to tell you, there's nothing wrong with this. No shame in your game if you're one of these people. You just don't like leading people. You don't want to lead people. Good news. You don't have to. 844-747-2577 is the number. Ask@kencoleman.com is the email. We get to your emails a couple times a week, and then I'm looking at my computer. That means if you're watching right now, over there on the right, if you're looking at your computer to the video window where you see me right now, hi, waving at you. Good to see everybody. You can drop those questions in. They come right here to my computer, and we'll get to a few of those a little bit later. Hey, give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying today's show. If you do enjoy it, if you've never given us a thumbs up, it's right there below the video window. And give us a subscribe, and maybe share today's show with somebody that you know needs this. That all helps us spread on YouTube. So thank you for engaging and being here with us. Let's go to the phones. Julie joins us in Sacramento, California. Julie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I am living the dream, Julie. What's going on?
Good. Hey, I have a job right now that I absolutely love, and unfortunately, it's part-time. They can't have me full-time yet. And I do need to boost my income for the year. And I'm just wondering what kind of advice you have for me to stay in a job that I love. I like the company, everything, but I don't see anything down the road in the future for me to move up forward.
Okay, what do you do right now?
Game of
what is that part-time job?
My part-time job, I do tile design for a major company. So it's for remodels, for kitchens and bathrooms. I do all of the design work for the company.
Nice.
Yes, I love it. I really do.
Because you're a designer.
I enjoy it.
You're a creative person who loves the idea of combining things, creating something out of nothing, and seeing your work, somebody go, ooh, ah. Right? That's what.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So, what do you,
all different styles.
Yeah. So, what do you make in your part-time job right now?
I make probably about $35 a year in a part-time job.
Okay, and you want to make another 35?
At least.
Okay. Well, so this is interesting. You have told me that you don't think that the full-time job is coming anytime soon. So you know the lay of the land. So you've got this interesting situation where you can either go to another part-time job that's very creative, and to me, it's got to be very similar. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're doing, but it does have to involve that creativity where you are creating something, and ideally the design, because that's one of your skills. So you love the work. So if you look at how I break things down for the sweet spot, it's you use what you do best, okay? And that is that design eye, that ability to design something from nothing. And then you use that to do work you love, which for you is creating. You know, as long as you're creating something, you've got the juice. And then the results is what are you creating that makes you happy. So think of areas where you could step into another part-time role, or do you just say, hey, I want full-time money. Yes, I love where I work right now, but the reality is, where in Sacramento, California can I find a full-time gig that's doing something very, very similar? And so we just move right into that. So now we're making, that full-time money. So I think you could either add a part-time gig and stay where you are for the short term until you find that full-time gig. So I like any of those combos, but I don't think there's anything confusing here. And I think it's kind of simple. It's just you putting yourself out there because you're really good at what you do. So I think it's finding all the options. I think it's scary sometimes, Julie, when we don't know what the options are. But can you think of 4 or 5 places in Sacramento that on the surface, just looking, we don't know what they're offering right now, but they're making something that you could get excited about being a part of?
Right.
Can you think of those? You don't have to tell me.
I can think of some. I've done other jobs, but where it was in sales and commission, and but now in that realm of the job, the competition is so tough that the money is starting to not be there like it used to be.
Okay. Well, again, I don't think this feels complex to you a little bit, but it's really not. I know, but it's not. Have you heard me talk about the proximity principle on the show?
Yes.
Okay. This is exactly why I wrote a book about it, because this is so simple. So it feels scary and complex, but it's actually simple. I don't know when and where the opportunity is going to pop, but I know if you get in proximity to other people that are doing what you want to do, or people that are already doing what you do, you start hanging around those places, somebody's going to go, oh my gosh, Julie, you would be great for this. The opportunity is going to come to you, but you've got to get active and put yourself out there. It's just that simple, because you've got experience. You're good at what you do, yes or no?
Yes, I am. And I have had people say, oh, I might have something open. Are you open to working for me? But nothing has come to fruition yet.
Doesn't matter. It's a game of addition and multiplication. The more people you run into who say, Julie, I might have something for you, eventually turns into, Julie, oh my gosh, this is perfect timing. And you're going to go, no, it's not. This is the timing I knew it was going to happen. I just showed up. There's nothing perfect about it. I just kept showing up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So here's the deal. Your homework assignment is to identify 3 to 5 companies that have the potential to have the opportunity for you to work for them. They're doing what you really love to do, and you can bring your skills to the table. The other thing is, the other homework assignment is, what are other types of design besides designing tile? What are some other areas that you know your experience and skills are transferable? I'd start making that list. And once we know the target list, we start talking to all of our relationships, acquaintances, all the way to close personal friends and family. It's the web of connections. It's a chapter in my book, The Proximity Principle. And so, you know what? Let's see. If I didn't ask her, I think she's still on hold. If Julie doesn't have my book, The Proximity Principle, I'm going to give it to her, because I'm going to do all the work for you folks. I don't think you all understand this. This is not a motivational gibberish rah-rah book. It's super practical. There's 5 people, 5 places, and then practices that you employ when you're around those people. I've done all the work for you. It's such a clear path. Just read it and do it. There's a whole chapter in there on the web of connections, which is a real term that comes from sociology and psychology studies together. Everybody's got a web of connections. You know everybody that you need to know. Trust me. You just got to get serious about it and put yourself out there. So many of you aren't getting where you want to be because you're afraid of rejection. You're afraid to ask somebody to help you. You're afraid to put yourself out there and get turned down. Guess what? It's the same in work as it is in relationships. You are not going to meet the love of your life eating popcorn and watching Netflix on the weekends. They are not going to come to your door and knock on it and go, hey, hi, listen, I want to marry you. Yes, just as you are, with popcorn crumbs on your sweatshirt and a stain on your sweatpants. Can I come in and let's finish watching that movie on Netflix? And can we just get married right after that? Folks, that's not going to happen. As ludicrous as that sounds, some of you are treating your career and your work the same way. Well, I put a few things out on LinkedIn. I'm just waiting for someone to contact me back and tell me how awesome I am. This doesn't work. I mean, you know what I mean? So let's get serious, folks. Come on. It's going to be okay if you get rejected. I am a world-class reject. I have been rejected a lot. Joe, remember that time a now infamous, I've never said his name publicly, that infamous program director at the #1 sports talk station in Atlanta still told me, Coleman, you need to give up. That's what he said. Let this thing go. You don't have enough talent to make it in a #8 market. How's that working out for you? All right. I don't want to gloat, so I better focus on you, the people. Noelle joins us next in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. Noelle, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Well, Noelle, I am living the dream. What's going on with you?
Great. Well, to give you a little bit of background, I always wanted to be a nurse. I started in nursing school. I was about 3/4 of the way finished when my husband was injured in Afghanistan. So I wasn't able to finish that degree. During his recovery, though, I did finish a master's degree in healthcare administration. I wanted to stay in the healthcare field. So currently I'm working for a healthcare organization in a billing role, and I hate it.
Oh, of course you do. Of course.
I hate being stuck in a cubicle.
Yeah.
And the limited people interaction. So at this time, I really don't think returning to school is a possibility with my husband's health. So I'm really trying to find peace and fulfillment in a job with the degree that I do have.
Yeah.
But I've been having some trouble.
Yeah. Let me ask you this.
Finding something.
What would the ladder look like for you with that MBA in healthcare administration? What's the ladder up from that cube you're in now? If you were, I'm not even saying you want to advance, but I'm just curious. What's it look like going up?
Well, I mean, I am in a very large healthcare organization, so there are a lot of possibilities and a lot of places to move. From what I've heard from other people in the facility, it does take quite a bit of time to get to the top, though.
How long you been in?
Only about 6 months.
Oh my gosh! But
I already know that I so strongly dislike it.
Yeah, I know. But wait a second.
Short time I've been here.
Wait a second. I'll get there. I want to keep asking another question. Of all of those opportunities, and you told me there were a lot for you to move up to. Any of those opportunities attractive to you? Make your heart sing a little bit? You go, you know what? It's not nursing, but if I was doing this, I think I could see a direct connection to improving the lives of the people that I ultimately wanted to serve, but from a different perspective, a different channel. Anything up there, all these opportunities you told me about, any of them attractive to you?
Well, I have been speaking to a few people, that I do know that work here, and a lot of them do seem to be desk-based, I guess, in the administrative side of things. So I am still learning about all the opportunities that are out there. I guess, too, I am also, really struggling with the patience in finding, getting where I want to be.
But that's okay, Noelle. Welcome to the human race.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I wrote something down years ago when I was in my journey selling sponsorships to live events. Hello, Noelle. How exciting does that sound compared to broadcasting? Right. Okay, so I get it. I wrote down, don't obsess about the next and miss what I need in the now, or else I'll ultimately sacrifice the next. There were things that I had to learn and do. There were people I had to connect with. And all those years, what I thought I was wasting away were the preparation I needed to get where I am now. So I get the patience thing. We can, that's a mindset issue. I can help you with that. Okay. I'll get to that in a minute. You didn't really answer my question. And it's because I don't think you've done the homework yet. You're too busy focusing on how miserable you are instead of focusing on where you want to get to and seeing what the paths, that's plural, might be. So one more time, is there anything on that list of opportunities that you've looked at and you go, you know what, that is a potentially really attractive situation for me? Yes or no?
Yeah, I've seen a few things that sound interesting.
Okay. So here's the deal. You've been in 6 months. You said, Ken, the problem is that's going to take time. Well, guess what? You can't go to nursing school right now. You said that's not a possibility. I'm not sure that's true. So we'll circle back to that in a moment. I'm going to pull it all together. I know it feels like a pretzel for you, Noelle, but I'm getting you unwound on purpose because you're all wound up. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. So here's the deal. It's going to take you time and money to finish the nursing degree. How much time, how much money? If you were to start today, and I know you can't, but I want to run this exercise out.
Okay. Well, I've spoken to several local colleges, and basically they've told me I would have to start all the clinical portions over. My gen eds would transfer, so at least 2 years to finish a degree.
And how much money?
Probably around 15 to 20.
Okay. So we got 2 years and let's say 20 grand. Let's go high. Okay. Just for planning purposes. We got 2 years and 20 grand for you to do what you really have always wanted to do. Yes or no?
Yes.
How many years do you think it'll take you to get to one of those attractive opportunities in healthcare administration that we've been talking about?
Probably longer than the 2 years.
Interesting. You see where I'm going, Noelle?
Yes.
Could you come up with the 20 grand and cash flow that, or is that impossible right now?
Right now, no. I do not have any debt from my MBA. So I definitely don't want to get into more debt.
Exactly.
But also, my husband's health isn't the greatest. So,
right.
I mean, he gets a pension from the military, but I'm the only one working.
I get it. How much do you make?
About 30.
How old are you?
30.
You're really young. And so I was hoping that was the answer. Although had you said 40, I still would say what I'm about to say. You have time. You do have time to become a nurse. I think that the play is you got debt. I think you move up the ladder, and I'm not buying that it's going to take you years and years to move up. You have an MBA in health administration. I think you got to use the proximity principle in your own building. And the good news is you work for a large healthcare company that has a myriad of opportunities. Your words, not mine. This isn't a motivational speech, Noelle. I'm speaking in facts. And the reality is if you use the proximity principle, Noelle, and you start getting serious and going, it's going to require me sticking my neck out and having coffee and having lunch and doing everything I got to do to prove to people that I'm worthy of climbing the ladder, you will start to climb the ladder. And when you climb the ladder, so does your salary climb. And now you're paying off debt, you're taking care of hubs, and you get to a point where in 2 or 3 years from now, you're only 32 or 33, you're debt-free, and even if it's 5 years, you're 35, debt-free, cash flowing the nursing degree. You go back through the clinicals and you step into it. And at 36, 37, you're doing exactly what you love and you're debt-free. Noelle, don't tell me that you can't do it. You can do it and you need to do it. And I'm challenging you to do it. But you have got tons of opportunity in front of you with that MBA. So your job is to make more money and climb the ladder short term so that you can pay long term for the nursing degree and you spend the better part of your 40s and 50s doing what you love, being completely fulfilled, making great money. Don't tell me it can't be done. It can be done and you're positioned beautifully. No more excuses. Get uncomfortable, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation and get after it. 844-747-2577. I'm fired up. Watch out. Here we go to the chat room. Hunter Burns texts in, what are some ways to find a good part-time job to supplement my full-time electrician job so that I can get out of debt? I love this question. This is guts right here. It takes guts to go, all right, I've got a full-time electrician job, and now I'm going to add 15 to 20 hours a week so that I can get out of debt. Well, I'm going to tell you what your ideas are, Hunter. You're an electrician. That means you're really good at solving problems. You're just good at it. All right? You're also good with your hands because it's not just a mental thing that you're solving. You're now getting in there with all these wires and figuring stuff out. I would take your current expertise and your current experience and I would use it somewhere else. There doesn't have to be a conflict of interest. But you can go basically be a contractor for somebody else. You got a guy who's building homes. He doesn't have a huge staff. You want to be the best sub he's ever gotten? Say, hey, man, I'll work my fanny off. I'll give you 15 to 20 hours a week. I'll come do all your electrician work, and I'll cut you a rate, a really good rate. I would use your current experience and your current expertise and offer it to somebody else who needs it. It's not a conflict of interest if you're not competing against your current company. That's where I'd make the money. Amanda writes in, Amanda Foster, she says, my sweet spot is doing financial coaching. However, I'm not really interested in starting my own business. Are there other kind of jobs that I can utilize my love of financial coaching? Yes. You take the love of financial coaching, that becomes a spirit. I've got the spirit of a coach, but I might be working for a CPA. I might be working for a SmartVestor Pro in the Ramsey Network. I might be in a more of an accounting role or a clerical role or administrative role or a customer service role, but I'm bringing my love of coaching. So I'm not just doing the things that they need me to do. When I'm on the phone with that customer, I'm going, hey, you can do this. And you add a little extra to what you are doing. That's where I would take that coach mentality and the coaching spirit and apply it into a place where people are coming for financial solutions and services. And that's perfect. That way you're not an entrepreneur, you're not working for yourself. Owen C. Runk. Okay, I always love these. Every show, I feel like we get a username that kind of entertains me. I love words. I love interesting words, and interesting names are like a hobby of mine. Owen C. Runk. What a great name. And this is so ironic. Listen to this, Joe. He writes in, I'm pretty sure my sweet spot is in copywriting, but I'm scared because I've been wrong before. How can I ensure that copywriting is the right step? Oh, I love this. Owen C. Runk, start writing today. That's how you know if it's right or wrong. Start writing stuff and put it in front of people. It doesn't even have to be for a living. Just write some stuff. And go to your local community college or find some connection, some English teacher, some writer, some editor who's a professional at assessing writing or a professional writer. It's not that hard to find. And say, hey, would you critique me? I mean, if the whole page is red with a red pencil, it looks like, you stabbed me and I'm bleeding on the paper. That's part of it. I'm bleeding on the paper with my words. I need you to assess me. And when you get somebody who knows what they're doing saying, yeah, Owen, you got some talent. You got some real raw talent here that can be honed into a skill. Now you know it's right. And again, don't jump off of a cliff into copywriting. You don't just go do it for yourself. Start getting freelance opportunities, maybe a part-time writing job until you can make it a full-time job. Stay in the day job while you're working on the dream job. It really is the same progression that I had in broadcasting. You don't just show up one day at a radio station and say, hey, I want to be on 3 hours a day. Doesn't work that way. Joe just leaned behind the camera and gave me the I mean, I had to pay my way on, which, by the way, if you show up with money, you can get on local talk radio on Saturdays and Sundays. If they've got a spot open, believe me, they'll take your money. Whether you suck or not, they'll put you on the air because you're paying them. And by the way, that was how I did it. And so I had to find out if I had any chops. I'm looking in the control room at a guy. Joe, how many years had you been in radio before I met you? 20 years. When I came on that first Saturday, we had never talked before. It was like you were the guy who was on that shift and you were working the board. All right, now I'm going to tell people exactly what you're saying. I will not edit anything. When you heard me the first time, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you rate me? Content, a 7. What about delivery? Yeah, first time. A 4. Okay. Joe is so sweet. He was like, do you really want me to say this? Are you going to say this over there? Yeah, I am. Because here's the point. The point is that I had to see if I had any potential. All right. Now, how quickly, Joe, did I move from a 4 in delivery to maybe a 7, which I would call above average and good? 3 weeks. All right. So why? I had a coach. I had a seasoned radio producer who would come listen to my show, and on the way back, a 45-minute drive, he'd beat the crap out of me, tell me what I needed to do better. That was one thing. But number 2, what I was hoping you were going to say is I did have the raw talent. And so I went from a 4 to a 7 in about 3 to 4 weeks because the raw talent was there. So that's Owen C. Runk, what I'm talking about. your first writing may be something you never want to show to anybody, but if you're a 4 and it's just because it's raw and you've not experienced it and you've not put it out there, it'll quickly turn into something in that 6, 7, 8 range. And when you get to a 6, 7, 8 range, I got good news for you. You got a 9 and 10 in you. You really do. And so that's what you got to do. All right. Man, I got to fly. I haven't even told you about the Sunday Scaries. This is fantastic. All right, 2 things. I'm going to roll through this really quick. I'm looking at all the stuff I got to do. We're going to get back and get another phone call. So Shane in Fort Worth, Texas, hang on. I'm coming to you. Real quick thing. So I wrote an article on this for The Ladders. The Ladders, great website, great resources, and I write a column for them. And so the Sunday Scaries is a thing, apparently, Joe and Nathan. I did not know this. And it's the idea of I get scared on Sunday night to face the week ahead. Because it's miserable, I hate the work, or I've got a really tough week in front of me. And so the anxiety about stepping into a job on Monday morning that you can't stand gives people all kinds of anxiety. So they call it the Sunday Scaries. So I wrote an article for them. I'm going to give this to you really quick. 2 things that you can do when Sunday night rolls around and the anxiety hits you. How do you overcome the Sunday Scaries? 2 simple things. Because it's here, folks. The Sunday Scaries are here. That's where this is coming from. I'm thinking about all the bad things, and then our brain shoots chemicals in our body when we're scared and anxious, and it does have a physical effect on us. So the key is, what am I focusing on? That's the first step. So change your focus to, what am I going to do this week that gives me a chance to make progress to get out of the dead-end job? To move forward towards living the dream, doing what I really want to do. See, that's a different focus. It's not, see, because you already know you're not where you want to be. So focusing on that isn't going to help anything. Change your focus to, okay, Monday morning, I get to get back in the race and I'm making progress. I'm on mile 3 or mile 5 or mile 6, but I'm going to make progress this week. And focus on the things you need to do that week. What do I got to do Monday through Friday? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? Who do I need to connect with? What do I need to learn this week? What do I need to do this week? And then who do I need to connect with? That's your focus on Sunday night. That'll take away all that anxiety and fear, I promise, because your brain will go where you take it. All right, number 2, practice the proximity principle. Right? Once you've answered the question, what do I need to learn this week? What do I need to do this week? Who do I need to connect with this week? Now you go, okay, who are the people? Who are the places that I need to connect with? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to get around? And by making those connections, by using the proximity principle, you're going to make all kinds of progress, and momentum will always be there no matter how dead-end miserable your job is. No matter how toxic the work environment is, your mindset is, I can deal with this. I can deal with negative Nick. I can drown out gossipy Gwen. I really can, because I'm focused on something far more positive. And so that's how you overcome the Sunday Scaries. All right, let's go. We got to get to Shane. Shane is joining us in Fort Worth, Texas. Shane, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
How you doing?
Shane, thanks for hanging on. I'm living the dream. What's happening?
Well, I called in because I lost my job yesterday.
Oh,
and
man.
I took a self-strength evaluation test, the Gallup strength test.
Oh, yeah, Strength Finders 2.0.
Yeah, and it says that I would be good at, teamwork, uplifting people, just a general area of just, a good team player. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to fall in the same routine of trying to find the same job I dislike in the first place just to make money coming in.
I agree.
I'm just kind of trying to figure out what job using those talents would be fitting.
Well, so
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, that test spit out 5 strengths. Okay.
Yeah.
And you just gave me teamwork and uplifting others, but
my computer died. I'll tell you all of them. It's
yeah. Real quick, hit me with those.
Let me see if I can get my computer to work again.
Oh, don't worry about it. We got to keep moving. We're live. So here's the deal.
Yeah,
All right, now
it's strength, teamwork, uplifting individuals, initiative, hardworking, and so on.
Yeah, so those are qualities. But I want to know your abilities. What are your hard skills? What are the top 2 skills you bring to the workplace?
I mean, like I said, I'm a team player. I like helping.
No. I want to know a skill. I'm really good at doing this. What is it?
That's what I don't know.
That's not true.
That's my ultimate question.
Shane, that's just simply not true. What have you always been good at? What has always come easy to you, whether it be in school or early on? Just you saw other people struggle with this task or this type of function and you didn't struggle with it. What is it?
Talking, being outgoing.
Okay, great. All right, now let's shift gears real quick. What do you love to do? You think about this and your heart gets a little excited when you're in the middle of doing this.
I love talking to people.
Talking to people. Time flies when you're talking to people, huh?
Yes, sir.
What do you love to talk to people about?
How their day's going, just universal information, you know.
What do people compliment you on after they're done talking to you?
That they just they had a good experience. They felt comfortable. They felt relaxed. They didn't feel like it was, you know. I worked in banking all my life.
Do you give advice?
No.
You just listen to people and make them feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What would you do tomorrow? And I want you to stop thinking. You're thinking too hard. I want you to let your heart answer this question. If I give you a gig tomorrow, making the money you need to make and a little bit more, you know you could not fail at it. What would you do? What would be a dream day for you? You go, my goodness, Ken gave me this job and I feel like I'm stealing. What is it? Say it.
I guess be a counselor.
Say it again.
I guess be a counselor.
Okay, who would you want to counsel? Who would you want to counsel? Tell me. Now this is where your heart really comes in, Shane. Who are the people you most want to help through counseling? What is the problem you would love to be a part of solving through counseling?
Whatever their issues are.
Okay, nothing specific.
Maybe school counselor or just.
Why'd you say school counselor? Why'd that pop in your mind?
I don't know. I just thought to my head, you know, talking to kids, helping them figure out what they want to do with their lives.
Right, but that popped in your head for a reason. What about your history, your past, your story made your brain pull that from the deep, dark database?
I guess because when I was in school, I had a good school counselor that really helped me know what I wanted to do, what pathway I needed to go to graduate, exactly, and all that.
There it is. Who is that person? What's their name?
Her name was Shipley. I don't even think she's at school. She works at the school anymore. But
yeah. So how would it feel to be a Miss Shipley to somebody else?
That'd be great.
Okay. So I want you to play that out over the next couple of days. What does it take for you to get qualified? How long is that going to take? How much is it going to cost? What would that look like? Start hanging around with the Miss Shipleys. Get her on the phone if she's still around. Talk to her. You need to talk to people who are doing what you think you want to do. This is the proximity principle at its core. To do what you want to do, Shane, if you want to be a counselor to young people on the high school or community college or college level, you want to listen to them, comfort them, encourage them, get around people who are doing that and watch them, observe them. Do a research paper on what they do, how they do it, why they do it. Does that connect with your heart? Because if you get that clarity, you are clarifying what is involved, and then you will verify whether or not it is, in fact, what you want to do. That's your next step. That's your homework assignment. And I suspect, Shane, you're going to get a lot of confirmation that you want to be a professional listener, a professional encourager. I think that's what you were created to do. I feel it. I believe it. But you got to go confirm it. And I just told you how. My time is up. But before I let you go, you matter. And you do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.